Good morning, Canes fans. This is Spike Drab coming back at you. To all my viewers out there who are tailgating for Michigan State right now, I'm a little jealous that I couldn't come out with you guys this week. Hopefully, be out there next week or the week after while we've got this homestand going on. In the meantime, be safe, have a ton of fun, and let's get ready for Michigan State. In order to do that, we got to look at what happened last week with Appalachian State. And as you can see, it was barely good enough. But I think that we have nowhere to go but up. But let me go over the plays with y'all so that you can see what went wrong and what went right. We did win 25-23. It was an ugly win, but a win nonetheless. So we start with the ball, which is a nice change from normal. King immediately has to scramble off a play action pass. Didn't see anybody, felt pressure. I felt like he had happy feet all game. Not a bad thing for a guy as mobile as he is, but I definitely think it affected some of his passing. So we then go to zone read. You're going to see it about 20, 30 times out of 70 plays today. And starts off good. 9 yards for Cameron Harris, zone read. Harley did not have a great game. This one wasn't his fault. Keyshawn couldn't block the corner who came right through him and tackled him in the backfield. Harley managed to fall forward for no gain, but my man Harley had a rough game. So offsides, and then we run a design QB run off the edge, poor blocking, which was also a hallmark of this game, forcing King outside instead of running off tackle, and the defense was able to stop it. Now we're going to come to our first play that was reviewed in detail by 365 Canes Football. Definitely check them out on Twitter. My man Steve does a great job breaking down these plays, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but man, drop passes killed us. That's number one. We're going to try and keep track of it as we go along. Number one drop by the Canes. We get the ball back after a turnover. This is our goal line, our new look goal line offense. Honestly, I'm okay with it. 2 tight ends, even though it's still shotgun. Cameron runs off the edge because honestly, it's supposed to be a read. In my opinion, it's supposed to be an RPO. And if King keeps it on the RPO, he could actually walk into the end zone probably. But because of the personal foul call, even though it was misread, Cam still the play still ends up giving us another set of first downs on the 3-yard line. Cam, then we run right at him out of my least favorite formation that we have, which is this pistol formation. But Cam gets 2 yards, gets to the 1-yard line, but he's got to come out because he lost his shoe. So then my man Don Chaney, quick recovery, bud. He gets the touchdown out of a traditional goal line, under center, smash mouth offensive formation. I love it. Let's get more of this shit. Anyway, touchdown Canes. Get the ball back. App State comes right back and scores. Not great. King has this very interesting. They have this very interesting play design by Lashley. He fakes the play action, or rather, he fakes the quarterback draw as a play action. Then he looks for a pass, the little pop pass. They take it away. Their linebackers were very, very good, very disciplined. I'd love to see it here, but it is what it is. And so then he has to roll out, and instead of taking it himself, he tries to throw it to D. Wiggins in the flat, and he just short arms it. That's not on D. He just, he wasn't supposed to be rolling. It wasn't a designed rollout, and King didn't get his legs underneath him, so he short armed it to Wiggins. But I liked the play design. I'm glad that we brought that in for this. People said that Lashley's play calling was too vanilla. It was, but there were flashes, like 1 or 2 plays here and there where he really tried to open it up just a little bit, and it never went well. And that's not on the coordinator. I think picking his spots is fine, but I think for the rest of this game, he decided that we were going to run zone read until we were going to run inside zone until the lineman figured out how to block it properly. Here, this was off tackle. Chaney did a great job. As he does, like I said, quick recovery. We get 20 yards on this play. So out of the 4 running plays we've had so far, even though, oh man, why are we running the ball so much? I think we got about 30 yards on 4 4 carries. It was what happened later. The line stopped trying, in my opinion. And so then 1st and 10, X is going to give it to you. He's a really good receiver, young receiver, but he's scrappy as fuck. So he gets 18 yards here. Next play action to Chaney, dropped by X. Again, young receiver. Here's my one thing. We don't see X back on the field until probably the second quarter. I know it's only 4 minutes away, but Mallory dropped a pass earlier. He stayed on the field the whole time. Harley's going to drop a couple passes. He stayed on the field the whole time. Rambo dropped a pass. He stays on the field. So they're holding the freshmen to a different standard than the seniors or the upperclassmen. And quite frankly, if you're going to do it for everybody or don't do it at all. Anyway, so drop number 2 on the day. So King has a great run off the edge. Again, the design, QB, draw or power, actually, because they go off tackle. But Chaney holds. He needs to work on his run blocking. I know that's a weird thing to say for running back, but if you're going to draw these plays up, you need somebody out there who can block. And honestly, that's Cam. That's a personnel thing. So his 16-yard run negated. So we end up with -3 there. So if you're following our drive here, you get another false start. They blame it on Jalen Rivers. He did flinch, but so did Zion. They went at the same time. And if they were going to call it, could have called on either of them. And then when we do actually get the play on after losing 5 yards, it's another short arm pass to Rambo. King just did not look super comfortable out there throwing to the sidelines initially. He gets his act together. He starts throwing some beautiful balls to the sideline later, but technique-wise, he wasn't stepping into it even when he had a pocket. So when you look at this wonderful drive we have going here, 0 yards, 20 yards, 18 yards, 0 yards, -3, -5. We're all or nothing. All right. This one was a screenplay broken up by DeMarco Jackson. I apologize, I misspelled his name, but that dude was all over the field. That's why I mentioned him here, because he was a freaking terror on our offense. And part of that is he's just a really, really solid player. He should be in the NFL for sure. But part of it is we need to account for him. He's the best player. The announcers know he's the best player. How does our line not know to pick up 52? I don't know. So anyway, we get the ball back after a safety. And here we go. Will Mallory, 5 yards on a rollout, a design rollout left on and to the flat. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Every time we rolled out King, I liked the design of the play very much. Whether we execute or not, different story. 2nd and 5. Let's start running this inside. This is when people got pissed. At the very end of the first quarter, Cameron gets stopped on the inside zone. All right. 3rd and 5, incomplete. He gets hit on the throw off this rollout. Again, I like the rollout play. He was just trying to throw it up because no one got separation. Look at 365 on Twitter to get more information. But I like the design of the play. It's just that nobody blocked Jackson. Who else are you supposed to block, man? I get it that you're not supposed to hold up forever, but it's a design rollout to the right. You should be expecting the linebacker to come flow towards you. And it just... my man Navon Donaldson had a rough night. So, all right. So through the first quarter, what I saw was this very elaborate way of saying that we did the most basic vanilla offense you can fucking think of. Joko Piano is the most vanilla opening, one of the most vanilla openings in chess, because they've been doing it for 500 years. Chess players have. So everybody has seen this if you've played chess more than casually. And 99% of the top players out there know how to defend it properly. So there's no real active play. You do this as an offense or as the team with the white pieces in order to get a draw, and you can actually take it further. This is kind of a further development. The quietest game that you can do as an offense is to do a slow build, wait until everything is fully prepared, everything is fully fleshed out, and then you slowly push. And if the other guy knows what he's doing, like an App State does or an experienced chess player, you just end up into a slow positional game that most likely ends up in a draw. Fine. I know that's what Lashley was doing, mostly because he wants to make sure all his pieces are solid, that we're executing the plays that we need to execute. So, in this particular setup, you've got, I would say, well, we'll call him a receiver, a tight end. Through this first quarter, we ran 18 plays, 9 runs, 9 passes, couple to Mallory, couple to the receivers. King had a couple design runs for him. We obviously ran the ball on inside zone. We didn't run it too much though. Initially, we ran it, like I said, maybe 4 times, 3 or 4 times out of 18. So it wasn't like every play we were running inside run. He just kind of developed enough of it and was like, okay, where do we go from here? Where we've got the lead, we should be fine. Except that it's only 9-7, so we need to be better. So you come out for the second quarter, and Cheney runs for a loss. They did the fake again, coming out of pistol. Why? I don't know. Do the fake screen, bubble screen, and then do it's kind of a read, but really it's just inside zone right up the gut. Nobody blocked on that play. Again, check out 365 for more. Now this one, great pass. He started getting, I think after the first quarter, King got hit the jitters out in terms of his passing, and he starts making good, solid throws all over the place. Even when he misses, he doesn't miss short. He misses deep. He overthrows. He puts it where only his guy can get it and nobody else. In this case, he actually put it on Keyshawn as he fell down on the ground after being pushed by the defensive guy. You can't ask for a better pass than that. We get the pass interference. And here he does, again, the China design play. Can't block it. Again, we don't have a bread and butter play. When you're looking through this, it's a zone, it's a read option. He keeps it, and honestly, he shouldn't, because this is why we don't have a bread and butter play. King can't do the read options effectively enough to make it our bread and butter. We'll see later on, it is very effective, but not as a bread and butter play. So what's our staple? You guys tell me. All right. King here isn't supposed to run, but he scrambles anyway. He had about 10 scrambles throughout the game, especially in the latter parts of the game. They were very effective. 29 yards is a great play. He should have actually housed it, but, that's fine. But later on, they start expecting him to scramble because they realize that we're not getting separation against App State. Now, I know their defense is fast, especially for the Sun Belt, but damn, guys, you got to create separation. So he hits Harley for 5 yards. The stop route was open all day. Here we are, trips, pistol again. Cheney runs for 2 yards, right up the gut. So I tell you, is inside zone our staple? Obviously not. If anything showed that inside zone is not a staple of our offense, is not our bread and butter play, it was this game. Cam runs inside zone, 3 yards. Now he gets a first down on 3rd and 3. That's fine. But we don't have, we're going to just run bubble screen all day. That's not really our bread and butter play either. I loved this play. So I decided, because Elijah Arroyo looks like a stud and he should be on the field a lot more, I decided to have him as my fullback because they used him in the fullback position multiple times. They liked putting him in the backfield, rolling him out, like in this play right here. But off of the play action, and then we've got Mallory as the true tight end, quote unquote, the true tight end. So that way when they're both on the field, which one's Arroyo, he's the FB, and which one's Mallory, he's the TE. This was a great play design. Arroyo got out there a few more times, but by then, Lashley, I think, decided that we were going to run this inside zone until the wheels fell off. Because if we can't get that right, if we can't get it blocked right, after running it probably 20, 30 times, it's just dead, So this one, great play design because we had both our tight ends out there blocking. Again, check out 365. Steve-O breaks it down very well. Rambo does a great job taking it and making money with it, making hay with it. But then the next play, King puts a dime. So it's play action. He rolls out to the right, and he puts a dime on Rambo. Rambo catches it, but as he comes down, the safety hurts his hand trying to knock him out. And you just got to hold on to that ball, man. He had 2 hands on it. That puts us on the 2-yard line because it was a 10-yard pass, 11-yard pass, and he would have put us right there in the goal line stand again instead of being on the 12-yard line having to work our way in. That's really important for later on. This, to me, is a perfectly designed play for the situation that we had, and you can't put it on Lashley for the fact that this didn't work. And now that they've seen it, it's not going to work again. That was off a play action for the inside zone. So what is he going to do? He's going to run inside zone. And this was terribly blocked by the line. So it goes nowhere. And they backed up because of that last play. They spread out. This is a power spread offense. They only had 4 guys blitzing, and our 5 linemen couldn't even control the line of scrimmage so that he could get a yard. That's not on Lashley. The rest of this game is on Lashley, but this drive right here, we should have scored a touchdown, was not on Lashley. So then King scrambles for 8 yards, and I'm actually giving away the GOAT here. I broke it down a little further, but he scrambles for 8 yards because there's nobody open. And again, King is great in these small spaces. Again, the formation is tight. It's compressed so that we could spread out the field kind of as a jailbreak. And it worked. Everybody bailed so that King could sneak around and get 8 yards on the play. And we decided to go for it on 4th and 3 here. And this was not a bad play design either. Arroyo's in there blocking. We've got Mallory on the other side. They block it very well on the inside zone. Cameron scores the touchdown, and Keyshawn is not lined up properly. I mean, you're killing me, man. Like, everything in these last 4 plays, there was no reason why we couldn't score a touchdown here, except our players did not execute. And all of the field, all the linemen, the receivers, like everybody failed to execute. The only person that I probably won't give blame to there is King and maybe Cameron. But it was just, how many times can the players shoot ourselves in the foot and then we blame Lashley for the poor play calling? I mean, I agree. The rest of this game, he was terrible, but that was not on Lashley. So this is an example of what I would call a stalemate. So it is this thing in chess. The king is stuck here in the corner, and he can't move anywhere, and it's his turn to move. And the pieces around him, the white pieces around him, nobody is actually directly going for the goal. Nobody is scoring. You know, you can't win without getting the ball in the end zone. So basically, this means White was the last one to move. White screwed up somehow. He had all the pieces in place, and all he had to do was execute. All he had to do was put the king in check, and the game doesn't end. At least you keep it alive, even if you don't immediately win the game, which White could have. You keep the options available to cash in and not lead to this, which is an immediate draw. The game ends because White fucked up, which is all we did in that particular case. That was the definition of a stalemate. Every time we did something right, we shot ourselves in the foot and we settled for a field goal. Stalemate. Defense basically comes out. And then, of course, they return the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown. So now we're behind the 8 ball. So now it's the Keyshawn Smith show. Dude is a baller. Get him looks all day. Harley doing his thing. Again, another stop route. Perfectly fine. I think this is the one where he caught it at like 9 yards and ran backwards to try and run around the defense. I don't know, man. Just take it, run upfield. You know, keep pushing forward. He's looking for a home run play. That's fine. That leads to Harley. He's overthinking. He's trying to do too much. I know my man is a captain on the team. He feels like he has to be a leader. He has to be the top receiver. He's letting the moment get to him. You can't have these drops, man. Oh, by the way, that's number 3. Oh, no, number 4, because Charleston already dropped one as well. So up until this point, we have 4 different receivers drop passes. And people are looking at King, oh, why did he only go 20 of 33? Well, 4 drops will do it for you. So then King, he hits Rambo here for 8 yards. Beautiful passing. I mean, he's putting it on the money. So wasn't every time, but he's putting it on the money. This one, they tried to do a very interesting play call. I'm surprised that 365, Steve didn't talk about this. This was a reverse pass screen to our running back. I think, people are saying that he wasn't creative enough. That was a great play design. Well, I think there's some stuff that could be done better because everything's flowing right, and then you throw a screen pass to the short side of the field. You're kind of pulling the defense that way. I think you should just do the actual reverse first before you try the reverse pass. But either way, I mean, the defense, was ready for it. It was overthrown actually because the defender is right there. King put it where only his guy could get to it, and we got the unnecessary roughness call. My only thing with this is that nobody is giving credit to Lashley for calling this play. I don't necessarily think it was a good play design in and of itself, but he's trying, right? This is the effort that you want to see. And it got us yardage. Now, this shit's not going to fly against Michigan State. We'll get to that later, but at least he's going out there and trying, and every time he does, nothing comes from the play. We get a penalty. That's nice. The play was completely broken up. Not one lineman got out there to block on the screen. It wasn't good. All right, King now rolls out. He hits Harley in the flats first, so on 1st and 10. So now we go 2nd and 5, and yeah, we tried doing basically a pistol. We've got kind of this I form, but everything's very spread out, and then Cam tries to run right up the gut. This just speaks to me of running off tackle. I mean, you've got your tight end outside. What are you running inside for? Again, the defense knows you're running. Everybody's weighted to that side. So unless you're running a counter play, which would be a revelation for this offense, it doesn't make sense to me to try and go into the center, which is where the play was designed. So it just kind of piles on for everybody saying, why do we run inside zone 15 times a game? He's trying to do different looks. He's trying to figure out a way for it to become our bread and butter play. And it's failing, man. Harley with another drop. That's 5. All right, King scrambles. It's probably like the 3rd or 4th time at least in the game in the first half that he's got to scramble. And this is just him trying to make lemonade out of lemons. He had no one to pass to. He's just trying to make sure it's not a negative play. And because his legs are so good, he's going to attempt to get more than just, throw it away. I'm going to tell you, Derek, just throw the ball away. It's not worth it, man. If you're going out to the sideline, just flip it to the coach, get it out of bounds, move on. All right, this one was overthrown. This was not on Mallory. This one, Mallory was really well covered. He was looking for a flag. And King, again, just kind of put it out beyond his reach, so there were no turnovers, which I like to see. It's sad that we can't get separation against App State, but what are you going to do? So then this one is a covered sack. 365 covered it. Just weak stuff, man. Weak stuff. All right. Start off that was the end of the second half. We give the ball back. They don't do anything. Our defense was good up until this point. Now we come out on fire. I love to see this. We made second half adjustments, and we come out with a plan. First plan, again, play action one way. Design rollout right. Hits Keyshawn Smith for 17 yards. Boom. Let's go. And he overthrows Charles Rambo. This pass was just, again, he kind of sailed it. I think Rambo went up for it, and he just mistimed the jump. But again, it was so high, no one else was going to get to it. What are you going to do? Cameron, inside zone, 3 yards. Then he hits Rambo for 33 because he just lights him up. Rambo, I mean, the guy didn't even try to challenge for the ball. King puts it right on Rambo, right on the sideline. Just chef's kiss, baby. And then he scrambles again, not a designed run, but he decides that no one's available, so he tries to put it on himself. And when he's making these runs right here, where it's just off the tackle, right up, right inside the box, that's fine. Obviously, he doesn't have to throw it away there. It's these other ones off the. This was it was a bubble screen, but we weren't actually blocking that. We were hoping they'd bite on the screen and they throw over the top. They didn't. They stayed home. Very well coached defense. And then Cameron, 12 yards for a touchdown. Inside zone can work. It should be our bread and butter, but our linemen have to be able to block it more effectively than 50% of the time. Doesn't mean they have to win 50% of the time. They just need to be in the right position 50% of the time. But so here we go. King, another short arm pass, but this one wasn't designed as a rollout. He was just kind of trying to get out there, and he short arms it. Quite honestly, Keyshawn caught it. I think maybe he just saw that Keyshawn would have gotten rocked because of how long the play took to develop, or maybe he just short armed it. Again, it didn't look like he got his legs from under him properly when he made that pass. And we do inside zone, 7 yards, first down. Like it's not bad. This one, he scrambles. It was out of, again, the I form, and they were much more compressed, much more let's run, dive at them. And they didn't. and it was just to kind of keep the defense in. King scrambles out left. He gets a few yards, but again, man, that's where you hurt yourself. That's how you hurt yourself last year. Just throw the ball away. 3 yards is great, but when we get no yards on the zone read, because now we've run inside zone probably 15 times in the game, it starts becoming less effective. And then this one on 3rd and 7, especially on this one, man. 3rd and 7, he's scrambling. He just kind of has to dive. This one, I think he got caught by his shoelaces, but still. It's hard to tell how effective the play calling is when King feels like he has to scramble 10 times a game. So that's on the receivers to get separation. That's on the line to buy him enough time. And I'm not saying that the line doesn't. It's just that, again, it's got to be more efficient. You got to block for him the whole time. And the receivers got to keep running. They got to keep trying to get separation. We're the ones who are supposed to be better conditioned. We should be running all over the goddamn field until we get open. All right. This one, designed run play with blockers, 11 yards, 4 first down. And then Cameron runs 19 yards. This was off a stretch play. Again, a revelation in our offense. I love when we run inside zone so often that the stretch play, even with no blocking from the line, still gets us 19 yards. But this was also off of a actual read option that King read properly. Boom, 20 yards. So it's there, but it's not our bread and butter because we don't run it effectively enough. King has trouble reading the defense off the read option and the RPOs. And that's okay. He's never been asked to do this shit until last year in the middle of COVID. He's not going to figure it out on the fly to the degree that it should be a bread and butter play. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Here we go. Keyshawn Smith, 15 yards. Dude was eating. Just keep feeding him the ball. He's young. He'll make mistakes. He'll not line up properly and cost us a touchdown. But when you made him the playmaker, he made plays. That's all you can ask for, man. All right. Then we had the kind of the turnout, his snapped the ball like he was going to hand it off, and then he did a quick rollout and flipped it over the top to Cameron. I love those plays. They don't work every time. We can't use them as our bread and butter, but it's good that we showed this against App State. Now, Arroyo and Mallory are in. They decide to go big, try to run zone, 2 yards. And Cam got hit in the backfield. He made 2 yards out of that. Again, off the zone read, I guarantee you that King could have gotten a lot more yardage if he'd run off the edge with Arroyo blocking. But again, this is why it's not our bread and butter. So 3rd and 2, we need to get a first down. What do we run? You guessed it, inside zone. But King, again, he's carrying out these fakes, so that's good. So it was enough to get people to hesitate. Cam was able to get 4 yards. I think King could have gotten more yardage had he kept it, but it's okay. We got that first down. Oop. Well, it shows so good we could show it to you twice. All right. Starting the 4th quarter, pass interference on Harley. King decides to go deep to the end zone. It wasn't a badly thrown ball, but Harley was expecting it to be pinpoint in the back of the end zone, and he was out of position, so he decided to take the guy down. To me, this is not a drop, but at the same time, I get it. Just Mike didn't have a good game, man. So now 1st and 25, we run inside zone. Why wouldn't we? Because the pass we just attempted was so not on point that we're settling for a field goal. I mean, that's what we're doing. And we got the screenplay here. This is the one where Rambo gets hit and he gets up spit and fire at Donaldson because Donaldson ran his ass all the way out there to not block anybody or even try to block anybody. So Charleston was pissed, and I agree. If you're going to call that play, you need your guard to get his ass out there and to just try until the end of the play. So, but I get it. It's not really our guys. It's not what Donaldson's good at. But they keep asking him to run out there anyway. So, man, I don't get it. And then here, we could have attempted, in my opinion, a 50-something yard field goal. I think it would have been fine. I believe in the stash. But here, Mallory decides not to go upfield after making a catch. He does get 9 yards, but, it was 3rd and 27. You got to play with a little more urgency in a 2-point game. All right. We get the ball back, still 19-17, runs 13 yards. Again, designed play run to King. So it wasn't just like, in fact, it was this was a weird play design because it was a play action or a option read off the end, but instead of having the running back go to the right where the defense, the D end has to actually leverage and decide which way he's going to go. King just basically pretends to hand it to the running back who then becomes his lead blocker. I don't know why the play action was even necessary there. But hey, they bit on the quote unquote bit. They were expecting inside zone. They all crashed into the middle. Good blocking on the outside, 13 yards. And then we get 4 yards for a sack. He didn't even get to move. Like he didn't even move from his spot. It was just a defensive line meeting at the quarterback. But then he does another design run. This is right up the gut. I liked it. It's not a read. It's a dive play by the quarterback. Everybody just blocks. Problem is that they crash the middle. And again, 2 yards, not bad. If King misses one tackle, it's a great play call. To me, this should be our bread and butter play. I hate to do this to De'Eric, but quite honestly, I don't think our line can do anything else. We need something that's simple. We need something that's effective. And I can't think of anything better than running King through the middle when we're doing this power spread. If he sees it, if he sees that there are not enough players in the box, he should be able to audible to give me the ball. We're running QB dive. He can move Mallory or Arroyo into the backfield so they're his lead blocker, or Cam for that matter. Cam's a good run blocker as well. All right. And then on 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12, he does a rollout and he basically flips it to Charleston because he's got nobody else. He's not supposed to, it's not a design rollout. He's supposed to pass the ball. He ends up having to scramble, and at least he tries to throw it away this time, kind of, instead of trying to run for it. So we settle for a field goal. They get a touchdown. They miss the extra point or the 2-point conversion, and we got to come back and we got to score. All right. I don't think we do it in this drive. He rolls out. He tries to do the little flip out the backfield to Will Mallory. Mallory is a straight line down the field runner. He should be running stops and being a big target for King, or he should be leaking into the backfield because when you get him in space, the man can run in a straight line. But he is not juking out anybody. He's not even stiff arming anybody. That's just he's not that kind of tight end. So even off the play action and whatnot, Arroyo is going to be better at that than Mallory. So if you're going to run that shit, know your personnel. All right, another scramble by King, and then Cameron runs inside zone. Well, it's technically off tackle, but it's a zone. It's an inside zone call, 15 yards for first down. And people are bitching about on 3rd and 1, and people are bitching about us calling so many inside zones. I agree, but when you get these results, even in the 4th quarter with the game on the line, honestly, in this last drive, King ends up having to scramble. Either we get positive yards off of a run. I mean, the best play so far is inside zone run in the 4th quarter. I don't know, man. I think we should have run inside zone 10 more times. With this formation, run inside zone. Instead, King goes to pass, can't see anybody, scrambles, gets hit at the line. No gain. He just took another hit for what? We might as well run QB power. And then he hits Harley here. A little bit of redemption for Harley. Good first down. And Cameron runs inside, zone play. I think it was zone stretch. 13 yards. Boom. Runs it again. 4 yards inside zone. And then when we're trying to throw the ball for, again, why? It's 3 minutes. We're down. I get that. But it's 2nd and 6. There were 3 guys waiting at the line of scrimmage who are unblocked to break up the pass that King is trying to throw over the middle. Let's run power. I'm not saying that we should do it every play because we did it way too much throughout the game. But in the 4th quarter, this defense got tired. They were fast. They were disciplined, but they were not big. Our linemen should have been leaning on these guys the whole game. But by the 4th quarter, it looks like they're getting tired, man. 3rd and 6, he scrambles for 2 yards, and we have to settle for a field goal instead because we went with a pass play. I don't know. In this particular drive, outside of one pass to Harley, and so we went to pass the ball 1, 2, 3, like 5 times, and he had to scramble 4 of those times, or it was broken up at the line. One pass was successful, 20% success rate. We run the ball every other time. We get at least 4 yards on the 3 times we run the ball. We actually get double digits multiple times. this seems to me that we should have run the ball more in this last drive. But it's good enough. It's good enough. So let's talk about the good enough end game real quick. King and pawn end game. White is very simple. He's got an extra pawn. He's trying to get to the goal. You got to grind him down and score that touchdown. That's what breaks the back of every single defense out there. I don't care what level of football you play. It is one of the most important and fundamental end games as a coach, both in chess, where you just got to get your pawn to the end zone, and in football, where you need to walk down the field and you need to get those 7 points. But the crux of this is whether you can escort the guy down. So in this particular in this setup, the move that White has to do is he has to move his king all the way down, basically force feed the black king out of there and end up getting to this spot. Because once he gets to this spot, the pawn can be promoted. He can also take the other pawn if the black king decides to isolate himself. It's game over. We can do that. In this particular situation, if we go back to what we were looking at for this field goal, running the ball is the way to do that. And I'm not saying running the ball for the sake of running the ball, but you ran inside zone 20,000 times during this game anyway. Now is when it actually makes money. Now in the fourth quarter, when the defense is tired, you need to be running it down their throats. You shouldn't be doing that earlier in the game. I agree. The third quarter, with the exception of the first drive, the third quarter was terrible for Miami. The play calling was weak. It was gross. It was massive. And it was basic because I think our dude Lashley was like, we're going to run this play until we get it right. And I think eventually the line figured it out. We were getting chunk plays off of inside zone at the end of the game when we needed it. So I think they figured it out. So here's what I'm going to say for Michigan State today, because we still got about 2.5 hours till kickoff. We have the capability of creating a bread and butter play. And unfortunately, that play is inside zone. But if that's too complicated for our offensive line, because they're reshuffling again this week, then I think QB power, QB dive, where you just give the ball to King and he runs up the gut. I think that's the way you establish all of the other things that Lashley wants to establish. You establish because if you've got King established as the primary threat, then if we run option off of it and King hands off on the outside run play on attack, off tackle to Cameron or to Tad Franklin or to Brown or whoever's out there, because we're going to have different guys again, it will be more effective because they're accounting for the first and primary play. Our identity should be we run the offense not through King, but he is the primary threat on the running game. Because when we try to run inside zone, when we're only being effective 50% of the time or less, yeah, it looks silly. It looks stupid. But the inside zone does work. Our line can block it. They're just not consistent. And we ran it ad nauseum last game for a reason. I think that Lashley wanted to see, is this truly possible for us to run this inside zone scheme? And I think he can come out with the conclusion that we can do it, but not good enough to be our bread and butter. So what we need to see today is I need to see a lot of D'Eriq King. I need to see a ton of him running the ball. I need to see a ton of him on designed rollout plays left and right. He should have at least 10 of those today. He should have had at least 20 of those against Alabama. And he had only about, I think, 3 to 5 in both against Alabama and App State. Those are the biggest things from our offense, that we establish that because it's a power spread scheme. We have to be able to run the ball out of a shotgun formation. That is the way to do it. And the number 3 thing, the most important thing strategically, is that once we have that done, once you run it a certain number of times, you start airing it out, and you air it out a lot. You get Michigan State to commit to putting their safeties in the box to stop King. Their corners are susceptible. Their defensive ends are fine, but they're not strong. Fucking air it out, baby. We need to make them commit to stopping King in the running game first. Stack the box against him, and my dude is throwing the ball 10,000 times better than he did last year. And I believe in King. I believe that Lashley will air the fuck out of this this playbook, and I think he's going to pull out all the stops against Michigan State. I think that will create problems when we go play North Carolina because they'll know all of our tricks, but that's a problem for later us. Let's go get the win today, beat Sparty, and yeah, shout out to everybody who subscribes, watches, and I'll be watching the game. I'll be live tweeting. Y'all have a great time today. Go Canes.